Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to do a practice for a happy back. Now we'll be on our sticky mat, the back and our belly, and I encourage you to have some props today. If you have a yoga belt or a belt from a bathrobe or a tie, that'll make this a little friendlier. If you have some yoga blankets or firm towels, that will also be nice, or even pillows from your couch and maybe a yoga block. Now these props aren't absolutely necessary, they're just little add-ons to enhance the practice. So if you don't have them, don't worry. Let's come down to our back and jump into the play. So you're gonna lie down, and as you lie down onto your sticky mat, come into an all-over body stretch, lengthening from belly out through the ball of the foot and belly out through fingers. Big opening. And then on the exhale, hug the knees into the chest and just rock side to side, massaging the hips a little bit. Good. Now from here, stretch both legs straight and we're gonna check in. And I want you to notice how the backs of the thighs feel in relation to the floor, the hips, the shoulder blades, and just notice some things. If you feel spacious or tight and lifted, and notice how it changes after the poses that we do. So you begin with the inner edges of the legs touching, knees and toes point to the sky. The arms are alongside the body, and on the inhale, shrug the shoulders towards the ears. Bend the arms at the elbows and press the elbows into the earth. Now the intention here is to root the inner thighs more firmly towards the sticky mat, to get the backs of the thighs a little closer to the mat. Maybe they even touch the sticky mat. Now keep the thighs heavy and rooted and soften through the rib cage. Hug your left knee into the chest. Now as you draw your left leg in, be mindful of that right thigh, that you don't pop the thigh up away from the floor. Pop is kind of a very intense word. It's not necessarily a pop, but it's a lift, right? You're gonna hold on to the left shin and press shin and hands into one another, keeping right inner thigh heavy, lengthening from the belly out through the ball of the foot. It's a very subtle stretch in the beginning for most of us as it releases the upper part of the hip flexor and opens the front of the thigh. Good. You can stay here or you stretch the legs straight and you hold on behind the back of the thigh. Now press the back of the thigh into your hands as your hands draw the leg towards the chest a little. And again, doesn't have to be dramatic, huge movements. You might find that you can't even hold on to the back of your thigh, and that's when you can add the belt in, either to the back of the thigh, or I'm gonna have you lasso the bottom of your foot. Now you can do either the ball of the foot, or if the ball of the foot doesn't work today because you're watching that, hold or wrap rather the arch of the foot. Now this just depends on your intention, what you're looking to do, what kind of action you want to experience in your left leg. So if the belt is on the ball of the left foot, you can press up more through the ball of the foot to fire your calf right here and protect against hyperextending. Because if we hyperextend at the knee, what will happen is you won't get the nice effective and safe stretch for the hamstring. You'll get locked out. Good. As you're taking a few deep breaths here and encouraging that right inner thigh to stay rooted. Encourage now with your left thumb in the outer hip crease. You tack that outer left hip towards the front of your sticky mat. That should make it a little interesting. And keeping those two actions, right thigh heavy, outer left hip tacked forward, you can draw the leg a little closer to the chest. But if you lose any of that integrity, the thigh pops up or moves up away from the floor, or that left hip hikes, don't do it. Not worth it, because you're not opening the hamstring then or releasing the hip flexor. From here, hold the belt in the right hand. And you can wrap the hand around the belt if you'd like, and you slowly widen the left leg off to the left. Now when I do this, my right thigh, keep that heavy on the floor. So if that means you can only widen your leg a foot, do it, right? Because if you widen that leg and this hip flies up, it's, again, you're not getting the stretch that you need. So right inner thigh and hip are heavy, and you slowly widen the left leg off to the left. Good. You can press the left elbow into the floor just to help relax the upper back and level it. You lengthen from the belly out through the inner edges of your feet. Good. The outer left hip, imagine you could tack your thumb in the hip crease and tack it towards the front of the sticky mat. Good. The foot can be in line with the hip or a little lower, and over time you draw the foot in the direction of that left shoulder. Good. On the last 2 breaths, noticing if you feel the stretch in the front of the right thigh and hip, or maybe it's the left inner thigh. For many people it is, but not always. Inhale, come through the center, roll all the way onto the outer right hip, and you're going to hold the belt in the right hand now. Now when you roll onto the right hip, the knees and toes of that right leg point to the right side of the sticky mat. So it's a big twist. The right elbow presses into the floor and you twist the right ribs towards the left side of the sticky mat. Haha, are you feeling this? Where should you be feeling this? Hopefully you're feeling something in the outer left thigh from hip to knee, getting into the IT band area a little. If you're not feeling it there, that's okay. You just might not be holding your tension and stress there. It might be somewhere else. You can draw the toes towards the shoulders a little bit, but again, you can remember and even use that left thumb, tack the hip crease away from your shoulders. Inhale, come back through center now, and slowly release. And rest with both legs straight, arms relaxed, and feel. Does one leg feel longer than the other? Or the back of the thigh more settled on the floor? One hip, one shoulder blade. Can you feel a difference? Maybe, I do. So you're going to bring inner edges of the legs together to touch once again. You shrug the shoulders towards the ears. You bend the arms, press the elbows into the floor, and we set the foundation. Inner thighs root, backs of the thighs heavy. Good. Relax the rib cage towards the floor, and we'll hug right leg into the chest. Left thigh stays steady. And we pause here, toes spreading, lengthening from inner hip out through the ball of the foot. You're doing a fantastic job. The advanced work comes into this practice when you work with the subtleties, right? So hugging the knee into the chest, that's not a big deal, right? A lot of us can do it. But if you focus on keeping the outer right hip tacked back, keeping the left inner thigh rooted, how do I get my rights and lefts correct there? Good. If you focus on lengthening from belly to toes and spreading those toes, that's where it becomes more challenging. Stretch the right leg to the sky, hold on at the back of the thigh. Press thigh and hands into one another. You're encouraging that outer right hip to press forward towards the front of the sticky mat. Good. You can stay there or you can add in your belt, bending the leg, lassoing, arch or ball of the foot, either way. You press up through the ball of the foot, just extending from hip to foot. Good. As that left inner thigh is heavy, imagining a little baby elephant sitting on it, the outer right hip tacked to the front of the sticky mat. You draw the leg a little closer to the chest. And now on this side, I'm going to have you keep your arms straight. Okay, so instead of bending the elbows, keep the arms straight. You draw the arms into socket, so the arms are anywhere along the belt that they can be straight. And remember, you might be right here. The leg might be only at a 45-degree angle. Perfectly wonderful, okay? With the arms straight, drawing them into the shoulder socket. Good. Just take 2 more breaths. And the nice thing about the arms like this is they act like a weight, a little bit of a lever. So rather than the arms bent and using the chest muscles to activate the leg, we're using gravity. Now holding onto the belt in the right hand, you're going to slowly widen right leg off to the right. Good. You're lengthening from the belly out through the ball of the foot, especially the mound of the big toe, because there can sometimes be a tendency to reach more through the pinky toe side of the foot. So actively reach through the mound of the big toe. The right side of the belly is drawing in and up. You're lengthening from belly out through feet. Good. Steady, deep breath. And where do you feel this the most? Right inner thigh, front of left thigh and hip. Good. One more breath. We're working to hold these poses anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. On the inhale, come back through center. You're gonna hold onto the belt with the left hand. Roll all the way onto the outer left hip. Good, left knee and toes facing to the left side of the sticky mat. The left elbow can press down into the floor and help you twist left ribs towards right. These are very powerful poses. I don't want to say simple, right? Because if you look at the details of alignment, they can get very complex. But on the surface, they seem simple. They're foundational. So tack the outer right hip away from that right ear. Keep gently rooting through the left elbow and twisting from left ribs to right. Just 2 more breaths. You're doing an amazing job. You're releasing all that tension from the upper back, the hip flexors, the outer thighs. Your knees are going to feel so much happier when those IT bands aren't super tight. Good. On the inhale, you can bend that right leg as you come back to the center. Release the belt and just rest again on your back for a moment and feel backs of the thighs in relation to the floor, shoulder blades, hips. Do you feel more rooted, a little heavier through the body? Good. Now from here, slowly roll onto your belly. And as you roll onto your belly, and I'm gonna just switch directions so I can see you a little better, see the screen. So you come onto your belly, you're gonna bring your left forearm parallel to the top of the sticky mat. Slowly bend your right leg behind you, keeping your thighs parallel. The knees, they don't have to touch, but you're pretty close with the knees themselves. The right hand reaches back for the outer edge of the foot, okay? So just be mindful of your foot here. As you press foot into hand and you draw the outer heel in towards the hip. Now if it feels better, if you're watching your feet, any kind of injuries there, you can hold on to the ankle instead. If the feet are okay, you can hold on to the outer edge of the foot. Good. One more breath, right knee pressing into the floor, lengthening from that right hip out through the knee itself. You're doing great. Exhale, release. You're gonna bring right forearm in front and you're gonna bend the left leg, reaching for the outer edge of the foot. Thighs parallel, tailbone scooping, foot pressing into hand. Keep those actions as you draw the heel towards the outer hip. Now you might be feeling a great big shoulder stretch, and make sure you keep the head of that left shoulder lifting. Don't let it fall. The shoulder might be talking to you. You might feel the left thigh talking. Good. And then on the exhale, slowly release. Now from here, plant your hands next to the rib cage, pointing the feet behind you. The toes spread and the tops of the feet gently press down. Scoop your tailbone, and on the next inhale, lift your chest just about 4 inches off the floor. So elbows and shoulders are at the same height. I want you to draw those shoulder blades towards each other and lift your palms up off the floor. So you're hovering just a little bit. You're not lifting up too high at this point. Bring your hands back to the floor. Keep your upper back engaged. Now hands press down. They try to move the floor back to the feet. Lengthen the spine forward and up into cobra. Your version. You might only lift a few inches off the floor. You might lift high like me. Mound to the index finger, pressing down. And on the exhale, slowly release. 2 more times. Inhale. Lengthen from hips to underarms. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Hands press into the floor. Isometrically draw the hands back towards the feet. And now curl forward and up. 2 deep breaths. On the exhale, slowly release. Good. Final time. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward, draw those shoulder blades towards each other, sweep the chest forward and up. And on the exhale, slowly lower. From here, make a little pillow for your head with your hands and just welcome in 2 deep breaths. Breathing specifically into the back of your waistline. And then bend your legs behind you. And you have options. Either reach around for the tops of the feet or the ankles if you're watching your feet today. As you hold on to tops of feet or ankles, scoop your tailbone, press the shins back so you get a little bit of lift through the chest. Now, as your chest begins to lift, keep the tailbone scooping and lift the thighs away from the floor. So you get a big heart opener, big shoulder stretch, a release for the lower back, believe it or not. 1 last breath. And then exhale, release, toes spreading, pillow for the head with the hands. Rest the forehead on the hands and take a few deep breaths. You're doing fabulous. And now from here, plant the hands next to the ribs. Come back into child's pose or table. Either one. I want you to just stretch out the back. Arms extend forward actively, pressing the floor down and pushing it away. Ears in line with the arms. Good. And then on the inhale, slowly come up. Now as you come up, you're going to go ahead and reach for your pillows or your blankets. And once you have your pillows and blankets, you're going to take your block and set your block up right underneath the top part of your blanket. So it acts like a little pillow from beneath, and you have this angle. Now you can get quite creative with your props at home, but this is a setup that you could do. You're gonna stretch your legs straight, and as the legs are stretched straight, you're seated on your sticky mat, and you slowly lie back over your support, and you make sure that block is just the right place so that it feels like a little pillow, and the arms come out at an angle. If your lower back doesn't like this, you're gonna simply just come all the way down to your back. Don't worry about the props. Turn your right leg out and slide the right foot up into tree pose. And take a few breaths. As you take your breaths here, encourage the soles of the feet to relax, toes to let go of their grip, thighs heavy, hips heavy, relaxed belly. Relax the palms, the shoulders, and allow your head to be heavy. a gentle restorative to release the tension in inner thighs and hips. And also benefiting the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. From here, you're going to slowly switch sides, rotating right knee to the sky, slide it forward, turn the left leg out and slide the foot up into tree pose. So the props are sustaining us here. You don't have to be too active other than encouraging the right knee and toe to point up towards the sky. Allow gravity and the props to help you with the rest. And just as a beautiful creek takes the shape of the riverbed beneath, those little bubbles and waves you see on the surface reflecting what's beneath in those little creeks. Allow the props beneath you to be like your own riverbed. You're conforming to the little bumps and lifts, allowing your body to drape over it. And just a few more breaths. And then slowly rotate the left leg up. Stretch both legs straight. Allow the legs to flop open, the arms to relax. And we take a few breaths here. Welcoming a deeper breath now, wiggling toes and fingers. And have you slowly roll to the right. Now as you roll to the right, use your arms to press up. You're going to do one final pose. You're going to take the props away from behind you. Reach for just one of your blankets and you're going to roll it up from the short end to the short end. Or if you have a firm towel, you can use that, remember. Or if you have some small throw pillows, place them behind the backs of your thighs and just come to rest on your back. And allow yourself a few steady breaths here. Welcoming a deep breath now. Again, wiggle fingers and toes. bending your leg, moving props out of your way. Slowly roll to the side, and in your time, all the way to seated. And that is our practice for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a lovely day. Namaste.